And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to an exciting new episode of the award winning recovery podcast, Get in the Herd. Today, I am your host, of course, Nathan Mitchell. Today, we are in the herd with someone who's usually over there. And if
This
you're
is
not,
weird.
this is really weird for
It's
me to,
really weird.
to feel good.
It does. It
Yeah.
does.
Who are you?
I am Justin Bognar. And yeah, I'm usually off camera pushing buttons and pushing faders and turning knobs and stuff like that. But this is my very last day producing this podcast and
Wah, wah.
being a staff member of this wonderful organization. But I'm definitely not going to be a stranger. You're going to see my face quite a bit around here, because I was told yesterday, and I think it's true that those who stay close always do great with their recovery. And I was told that by Mr. Shinholzer. So
I like that. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Well, of course, you being over here means we have somebody new over there.
we do.
And I know Art's a little nervous about getting on the mic. I won't put him on the spot yet, but Art, you better make sure you got that mic ready for the next time because I'm going to throw stuff at you. And the first thing I wanted to throw at you is I don't know how to say your last name. It's like I know it's like Agrippalopagus or
Agrippa
what
Galapagos.
It's Argyris.
Argyris. That sounds.
I've been saying it right this whole time.
All right, Justice.
All right.
I'm really excited to have Art over here too. By the way, Art comes all the way from California just to visit with us and play with our knobs and faders.
Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Hey, can I go into producer mode for just a second?
Please.
Art, go down and check your settings real quick. All right, go up to your audio. Sweet. All right, we're doing great.
What does that mean?
That is making sure that the other people on the other end of this stream can hear us.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, all right,
And
fantastic.
normally, if people couldn't hear us, we would have a few comments saying, I can see you, but I can't hear you.
That's a good point.
So, Art, you're doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciate you taking over this, whatever this is, this creation, this, I don't know, I guess, what would you call this? Because I didn't build it from the ground up, but, I've kind of tried to make it my own, our own,
We were in the mud.
in the mud.
Yeah, we were in the mud when we
In-
started,
in
so
the
so
mud.
we can definitely say from the ground up.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We kind of have like a tiled no, like we have a nice wooden floor,
Okay, okay.
and we're putting walls up. It's kind of like we have a Florida room right now, and
Florida
and
room.
and Art is coming in, and now we're gonna talk about whether we keep it a Florida room. It's been a great Florida room, or whether maybe we enclose the Florida room and make it an all year room. I've really stretched this metaphor, haven't I?
You've stretched about as far as it can be stretched, but I have faith that Art is going to take it to the next level, and I've tried taking excuse me, a lot of people under my wing and training a lot of people, but they always, and I don't blame them. They come in, they get interested, they hang out for a couple of shows, and then they disappear.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't say I blame them because, I don't have a whole lot to offer. It's more of an internship. There's not really any kind of money or anything I can offer them. There's not any kind of, all you really get is training and satisfaction.
Sounds like going on a date with me. I don't have a lot to offer, but
Yeah.
oh man, I'm
Um,
gonna miss you, man. Let's talk, dude, because I'm glad Art. We can talk. Art and I are gonna have a lot of time to talk, and we will. But I do want to keep it on you because let's see. We first met, as you remember, and many of our long-term listeners will know, my first day here. And
yes.
that was
Yes.
that day. Is you don't know the date maybe necessarily, but it was April 30th, 2018.
Okay. All right.
I don't. I just happened to know the date, and it was a Monday. And I don't know if you were at the house when I got there, but we certainly met that evening, and we've known each other ever since. And so there's been ups and downs in our personal lives, and I think we've I don't know that I've ever. I mean, I've certainly gotten annoyed with you, and frustrated with you, and I guarantee you've been annoyed and frustrated with me, but I've never
Absolutely.
ever been like, I don't want to ever see that person again. I get that, and I'm you know me,
Yeah.
and I can be an angry guy,
Yeah.
and you're one of those people in my life. I'm just always I'm really happy is there.
Yeah.
And I'm always happy to see, even when I'm frustrated and annoyed with you. I'm just like, all right, Justin's cool. We're gonna sit down and talk about something silly. I'm gonna feel better after this conversation. We're gonna be goofy, and that's like why I'm really gonna miss you, I guess, is what I'm getting at. And I don't like change. I
I'm right
don't.
there with you.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm terrified. Uh, and I'm gonna miss you too, a
Yeah.
lot. You've been a huge influence on my life. I remember back when we first met, and I remember our first really big conversation. Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
I uh, so this guy walks into my room at one of our houses, and I was house leader at the time, and he says, "Hey man, I know you don't know me, and I don't know
Hey
you,
man,
but
I don't see myself saying hey man.
well, you didn't say hey. I don't remember exactly what you said, but he was like, "Can I shut the door?" And I was like, "This must be serious." Okay, yeah. So he shuts the door, and he sits on the floor next to my bed, and for the next, God, it must have been like an hour, hour and a half.
Probably.
He just spills everything, and I'm sitting here just like, who is this guy? Like 20 to 30 minutes in, I was just like, oh my, what is okay. But by the end of it, I was just like, dude, like I really like this guy. Like you are a cool guy. Like, and yeah, we got along great after that. And then of course I went out and, as you say, did more research and
Yes.
came back, a couple of years later, and I remember sitting down in Joyce's office for the second time, and I guess she had just sent out the email that I was, a returning participant, and this guy walks downstairs and stands next to me, and he just looks at me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I look over at him, and I was like, "Oh damn!" And I got up and gave him a big hug, and it's been awesome since then.
What
Um,
was that? December of 2020? No.
no, that was this past time.
Yeah.
It was February 2021. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, because my clean date is February 19th of 2021.
Oh, yeah, I forget.
Um,
I'm the 18th and you're the 19th.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, but it was so refreshing seeing you because when I had called here from Tucker's, I had asked for Bob. And
Yeah.
they were like, Bob is no longer here. And I was like, oh shit. I'm not going to know anybody.
Right.
I'm going to have to start from the very
Jesse.
bottom.
You're
And
gonna know
yeah, I'm going
Jesse.
to know Jesse. Sweet. Um,
Yeah.
but no, then, there you came. And I was just like, it was such a relief. I was just like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's funny because I just saw Bob downstairs.
Yeah.
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 And Ark just got out of a class with Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how the world turns like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been here now
I've been here now. Well,
in the job. So when did
in the
you?
job, would have been a year, right at the end of this month. So
That's
I'm
it?
just shy of a year. Yeah,
Wow, it feels longer.
it feels a lot longer. We've done a lot.
Yeah.
We've done a whole lot. And I got thrown into a position that I had no idea about.
Welcome, Art.
Yeah, I had never run a podcast before. Um, I had no idea how to do it. I have an audio background. That's what I went to school for. And my bread and butter has always been live sound, putting on concerts and, tweaking dials and knobs and EQs and stuff like that. Making people
Tweaking.
on stage. Yeah, right. Making people on stage sound their best. And that's what I got really good at. And Nathan knew that,
Mm.
and he just happened to, hey, would you want to maybe come in and check out our podcast one day? And I was like, is there audio involved? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, then I'm in. And yeah, it just kind of took off from there. And it's been a very wild ride from there. Um, because all of a sudden I became a videographer, not a very good one, but a videographer. I've had to learn how to be a photographer. I've learned how to install Zoom rooms. I've learned how to update websites. I
Mm,
still not that very, not that good at it. Um, but it's
we need to talk about that.
what?
Not here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just like the website stuff. I want to talk to you about that when we're done.
Okay.
Just because I know. I just want to talk about it when we're done.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. Sorry. Let me put my finger up in the
No,
air.
it's all right.
Remind me. Squirrel.
um, but no, man, like I I love it here, I really do. And I mean that very sincerely. Um, because not only do I get to work with a great group of people, um, but I've come to really love the things that I'm doing and the impact I'm having, the impact that the product that I make, that we make has on society and specifically the recovery community. And the fact that this goes to jails and institutions and like um Aaron, um
Yeah.
yeah, when he when Cricket brought him up here and was just like, "Hey, this is Aaron. He's watched every single one of the episodes."
Oh yeah. Right. Oh, that's
Like
so
that.
weird.
That made
Yeah.
me that to me was just like, man, like that's a direct, like that's one of those times where you can see a direct result of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and that kind of like that made me. I don't know. That just made me really happy.
I am. I'm. I don't know. I don't always know how I feel about what we do. I mean, I know I'm always grateful and I love what we do, and I have mixed feelings about I go home and I'm like, we got 4 people watching today and blah blah blah.
Right.
It's like, what is our impact, blah 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 blah. And then we have something like Aaron comes in, or
Yeah.
Kenyatta, or we've had other people, Ethan,
Hmm.
people who come in and they're like, yeah, and I saw the show when I was in jail, or I saw the show, and I thought, well, you guys seem to be having fun. And then and then people start asking about things that we talked about on the show, and I'm like, how do you know that? And it's but they're like,
Yeah.
oh right. And my life is I mean, I'm pretty open about my life.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably a little too open. Everybody knows me. Um, and I love that we get to do this. Like, and
Yeah.
I love that, like, it's like Monique comes in and jumps in. She and Kayla were on the show, what,
Yeah.
Tuesday, right?
Yep.
And then Art, Art will come in and jump in. Waltz,
Mhm.
I think he testify
Testify
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah. We really have an amazing impact with what we do.
Yeah.
And, a lot of what we've done over the past year, it's you making a commitment, committing, to saying, hey, we're going to get this done. And, there are times, excuse me, there are times where we've both done this and we've both, said, but there have been times where I'm like, I don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, we've made a commitment to do this, so many times a week. And, that's cool. There have been times where we've both said it and been like, all right,
There's
no, we're
been
going to,
plenty of times.
yeah.
Plenty of
But,
times.
to be fair, when we do that, I'm gonna co-sign some BS maybe a
Yeah.
little bit, but to be fair, it's like always like something comes up at the last minute, which
Yeah.
around here that happens. It's like
That's not an unusual thing.
you weren't scheduled to be on today. I mean, like our plan for
Right.
today
Right.
was a guy was traveling from from Fredericksburg, and this sounds, Travis, if you're listening, I'm not laughing at you, but it does sound like a homework excuse. My dog is sick, and he actually sent me a video of the dog. I was like, oh, poor little guy, and so we'll get him on another time, but. When that happened, I was like, what was I thinking scheduling somebody on the last day?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, it should absolutely be you. And so it was no question in my mind what was going to happen next. And you came into my office and sat with me for a little bit this morning while I was trying to do the little promo page. And I was trying not to let you see it in advance until I emailed it to you. So let's talk
Yeah.
about the pictures.
Let's not talk
Let's
about the
talk about those
pictures.
pictures.
That's I look, okay. So,
You put them on there. You didn't have to do that.
well, I did.
I mean, you didn't have to.
I know, but well, I mean, okay, so All right. So I used to be very, well, I still am very self-conscious about the way I look. And I've never liked the way that I look. I always do that thing where I pick out like every single flaw, the whole, I guess you could say, a slight case of body dysmorphia. You know, nobody, you know how they have that comparison now, like the way that you look to other people versus the way you see yourself,
Yeah.
um, one of the pictures, my like I had a lazy eye in my left eye, and in one of the pictures, that's all I could see.
Oh wow.
Um, and like just little things like the way my hair looked and the my some of my features, and just I don't know. I tend to pick out like every single problem that I see and just focus on nothing but that. And since I've been clean this time, I've really taken a big step as far as not only accepting the way that I look and the way that I am, but taking steps to improve, my physical self, Um, I still need to work on my mental self, but don't we all? I both me and Teresa have dedicated ourselves to going to the gym and getting healthy and trying to do all that stuff. And I look back at those pictures and I'm like, oh, like it almost, I won't say it makes me sick, but it's like I'm like, man, I don't ever want to look like that again. And the thing is, like, if you look at them from like a different perspective, like they're not that bad. They're really not that bad,
Hmm.
But I hate them. I hate them.
Well, to that end, so what I did was, and you know this, but they don't know this. So for me to get the pictures for that little, promo sheet, whatever we call that, there's got to be a name for that title
I don't
card. There's got to be some kind of name for that. Anyway, there's another day. Art, put that on your list. Was that an asshole symbol? No, that was very good. There we go. Um, I want you to call me an asshole every once in a while, Art, just to remind me, because I'll forget. Um, Tangent squirrel. What's that? Yeah.
To like,
What was I saying? Oh, the pictures.
I
The
don't even
pictures.
know.
Yeah. So the pictures that we were using in the promo sheet, right? Um, one of those. I'm looking for pictures, from Facebook. I went and scoured Facebook to grab those pictures, and like, there's a few pictures in 2000, I think 18 or 19, and then everything else is 2007. So between 2007 and 2018, let's say, life probably wasn't very good.
Yeah, it wasn't the best. And that's I could dive into all that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and also the fact that like I've gotten very. There was a while there. I think it was pretty much like right when I first jumped on like the Facebook train and everything. I was posting everything all the time, and as many pictures like it was just fun.
Yeah.
But then I got to a point where I was like, because I think my grandma was still alive back then. Um, and she was on Facebook and followed me on Facebook, and one of the things she said was, "You cuss a lot on Facebook."
No shit.
Yeah, and I
See
see
what
what
I
you did
did there?
there. Uh, and so I was like, I probably shouldn't cuss as much on Facebook. But then I went to go make posts and I couldn't make posts without cussing. And then I realized that all my posts were just angry posts about something political or something religious or just something. And I was just like, why am I doing this? Why the
Mm.
hell am I like, nobody needs to know every single thing that makes me angry, every single thing that makes me happy. Nobody needs to see what I'm eating every single day. Nobody needs to see what I look
How
like
will they
every
know
single
you
day.
ate if they don't take it? Yeah.
Right,
How will they know?
exactly. They just won't.
How will they know?
Um, but re I kind of stopped posting everything all the time on Facebook. And still like right now, like I very rarely make posts. And if I do make posts, it's like a share from like a monster truck page or something like
Make
that.
posts.
Yeah, yeah.
Rrr, that sounds like something
Um,
a 70-year-old man would say.
you know what?
Hey,
One
Sonny, I
one of the
was
pictures
making a
in there
one of
makes
them
me
there,
look like I'm a
the Facebook
70-year-old. Yeah.
cancer patient.
Yes.
Oh, I was posting on the Facebook. I was making a post. So what are you doing?
Having a phosphate, no.
How about a phosphate?
Yeah. What do you mean? What am I
What are you
doing?
doing? I mean, you're leaving us, and what are you going to do?
So, me and Teresa want to make some pretty big moves. We have some pretty big aspirations. We want to get a house. I have a personal goal where I want to buy a brand new Toyota Tacoma. I don't want to use one. I want a brand new one.
Okay.
I want to drive it off the lot. I've never bought a brand new car before, and I want to do
Ooh.
that. That's a thing that I want to do. And now that I'm clean and I can, use my money wisely and
Wait,
that's a thing
you
that
can
I
do that?
You can. Turns out you can.
Wait. Does that happen just because you get clean, or do you have to do other work?
You got to do other work.
Oh,
You got to do a couple of other small things.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. But no, like I got a job opportunity that I don't know how excited I am to go repair garage doors.
It's a job with its ups and downs. I've been waiting to use that joke for days, bro. I've been waiting.
There it is.
All right,
there it is. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, it's this company called Precision, and it's just residential work. There's no commercial work, so I don't have to deal with corporations and stuff like that. Very, very small company. Company truck, gas card.
Oh wow.
You make commissions based off of the repairs that you sell. So it's not like I'll be selling a product and going door to door and knocking. It's somebody calls us and says, my garage door is broke. They send me out. I say, here's what's broke. Here's what it's going to cost to fix it. And
so you're going to be fixing garage doors during the day. Are you going to be going out at night breaking garage doors?
Probably. Hey man, job security.
Job security. But how many times people back up into those things all the time?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Or back
all
into
the
them.
time.
Yeah.
Or they'll, the motor will get stuck and they'll just yank on the garage door and pull the thing off the track. I mean, they break all the time, whether it's user error or whether it's, just the things malfunctioning. But either way, do you remember Logan Davis? Yeah. He's the one that got me the job.
Yeah.
And he shared with me some figures. And I was just like, there's no way I could turn it down.
36, 24, 34.
Yeah. There was no way I could turn it down. And
I'm crazy.
Like I said, it took a lot for me to say yes. But he was basically just like, dude, all you got to do is come apply and I can guarantee you're going to get hired.
Awesome.
I've worked with him before and he had already put in a good word for me. And, I had to think about it because I've really put my heart and soul into what we've been doing here. And I've really, I've made it my life's work, I guess you could say, to, make sure that the gear is up to date and that these, these podcasts and the Sunday morning service and everything that I do is here has given McShin the ability to put its best foot forward when it comes to, audio, video, stuff like that.
Well, you've also been a voice of recovery too. You're doing all that behind the scenes stuff, but there's a reason I love throwing things at you and talking to you. Right. I keep nodding over there where normally you're sitting, and I see Art's smiling face, which actually gives me hope because I really enjoy Art's company and I love talking to Art. So I'm looking forward to exploring that friendship online. But did I say exploring or exploiting? I don't know.
Probably
anyway,
a little bit of both.
Probably a little bit of both. And like that's kind of what made it work for us. It's like you being my friend too, like being able to talk back and forth and just it's not like I'm working with some guy who's got no personality. It's like I know you.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know you and I want to be friends with you. And it was funny looking at your Facebook page because like I know things about you, but like I've known you clean, I've known you in recovery.
Yeah.
And we have these. I think that might be why I kind of went down that weird trip. Like I told you something this morning that I haven't thought about or I hadn't thought about, in decades, like
Right.
literally
Right.
decades. And it just something popped in my brain. I'm like, oh yeah, that time. And I'll tell these guys here. There was, there's a time when I was in high school, I played brass instruments, and for the most part, I played trombone, bass trombone, and the French horn. Very
Hmm.
different instruments. And for those of you who know anything about embouchures, they kind of work nicely together because one's big, one's small. Great muscle. Anyway, but after I graduated high school, um, might have even been right before I graduated high school, but I actually went down to the Jersey Shore, Atlantic City, and I played trombone in a Chicago cover band at a bar. And I had forgotten all about that until just, I was looking at pictures of you and your band, La Brea.
Well, there was a couple of different iterations of that band. La Brea was one of
What does
them.
that mean? What does that mean in Spanish, Art? La Brea? Is that a word? Does that mean something in Spanish?
I don't think so.
I mean, there are tar pits in California, La Brea tar pits.
Yeah, I don't. I've
Nothing.
never heard that in Spanish.
We
Oh, maybe it's French.
one of one of our band names was Catastrobaticus.
That sounds like something you would put together when you're like
That
19,
look,
23.
I blame that
ish.
100% on my cousin Ben. He came up with that idea. He had eaten a ton of Adderall, and we drank a lot during practices. So the combination of the two is like, we should name the band Catastrobatica. And I was like, huh? He was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. I was like, write it down for me. He wrote it down. And I was like, this just looks like you jumbled up the alphabet a little bit. But yeah, we actually we recorded an album in my living room. But anyway, sorry, that's
No.
Yeah, La
that
Brea means the pitch, or
Oh, the pitch.
yeah,
Okay.
or a divide or a pit.
Okay. So the pits, tar pits. That's what La
Yeah,
Brea tar pits.
tar pits.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
I've never I was in a band called La Brea and I didn't even know what the hell it meant.
The pits.
That's awesome.
Well, but so sticking with this point, because this is where I'm going with that. It's like I, there's a lot of me, there was a lot of me before the addiction, took the life, took the fun, took the world out of me, really.
Hmm.
I mean, I was definitely doing addict stuff back then. There's no doubt in my mind that, when I look back, I'm like, oh, there all the signs are there.
Yeah.
All the 8 ball was ready
Hmm.
to be consumed. I mean, said, and I joke about it, but the reality, I mean, all that was there, but there's still these parts of me that were, the genuine growing up, having fun, living life pieces, and
Yeah.
that was a blast. Like there was a
Mhm.
whole part of me that expected to be able to go out and pick up a trombone at 46 years old and play, and like
Mhm.
I actually physically cannot do that now.
Mhm.
Most of you know my teeth and that so that when that happened, when I turned just after I turned 18, I had an accident and broke the teeth in my face, and I've never played a brass instrument since.
Mhm.
We're talking almost 30 years. And so, like, I remember doing it. I almost went to James Madison. I enrolled at James Madison on French horn, um, but I didn't do that. Life on life's terms came in, and I don't know that
Life
I,
on life's
I don't
terms.
know that I really fully accepted that. I think that really helped me have more of an excuse to go use and drink, going
Yeah.
forward. So
Yeah.
now that I'm clean again, or
Mhm.
clean, now that I'm in sobriety, now that I'm in recovery, like old dreams awaken, right? These things, are coming back to me. I ended up, because I couldn't play trombone, I couldn't play French horn, like I physically couldn't do it. I started, I was a performer anyway, I sang and did stage work, so I got more into singing, right? And I did that for years and years and years and years and years, and I stopped,
Mhm.
and it's like, it's one of those things, like, I stopped, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, not maybe even that, probably 10 at this point, yeah. And I loved it. I got so much joy out of it, and all that I ended up, I was missing dates because of my using,
Mhm.
instead of my partying and stuff. I wasn't, my money was gone. I didn't have the time to do, I just, everything got jumbled up. And so now that I'm in
Yeah.
recovery, it's like, how do I get back to, if I even want to, some of those things, or how do I find new things to have fun doing? And so I guess the question I bring to you is looking at those pictures of you and your band, and I know you've played, and I know you played over at Chamberlain,
Mhm.
you know, in the band room over there. But what do you do, man, for fun? You know, how are you keeping that going?
Well, right now, I mean, like I said earlier, I go to the gym a lot. Um, you know, um, Me and honestly, like I spend a lot of time with Teresa. As much time as we can when we're outside of work, and we do like we just started going to the flea market and selling stuff, and it's not necessarily that much fun. It's fun when you start like making money and stuff like that.
Yeah, money can be fun.
Um,
Money's fun.
but what I've found is that like I don't necessarily have to. It's small things right now that bring me joy, like trying to do a fun thing used to, when I was getting high, man, it was just like, I had to do something that was like not necessarily extravagant, but that was just like I have to go do a thing, in order to have fun, in order to have that joy, But now it's like I was telling you earlier, man, like I can take my dog out and like go for a little walk, and like I get joy out of that, I have fun doing that. And I appreciate, being able to come home and relax a little bit after work. You know, uh, I appreciate, yeah, I appreciate talking to friends, like, I don't know, you, it's a weird thing, but like pretty much just living normal everyday life is kind of fun in and of itself. It's not like there's like I don't have to have a million hobbies. I don't have to, have 1,000 friends, and I don't have to, go out, and party on Friday nights, and go to the movies and do this and do that. Like it's weird because it's just like I don't know, living normal, life is it's fun, like
Yeah.
it's kind of a hard question to answer, honestly, because when somebody says, what's your hobby, what do you do, it's like, well, other than going to the gym, I really don't know what I do. I kind of hang out, and I tackle problems, and I try to keep myself healthy mentally and physically, and you know I don't know, it's that, like I said, that's a really hard question to answer.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, like, I can get joy out of very small things, like I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of fun going to the grocery store,
I love going to the grocery store.
yeah,
I know I do too.
finding manager specials, and you're like, ooh, and I don't know if that's like, I don't know if that's like a sign of like, me enjoying the little aspects of life, or if it's just a sign of me getting old.
Well, I
But
mean,
either way, like I'll
Definitely
get
age.
excited.
age, as
Yeah,
you say.
like I'll get excited over like a new vacuum cleaner. I'm like, dude, this thing is gonna be awesome. We're gonna get this thing home, and it's gonna clean up so much dog hair. And I'm like,
I'm gonna buy a wet jet, a
yeah,
Swiffer, wet Swiffer tomorrow when I get paid.
yeah.
I'm excited. I've been excited about it all week.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm super, super excited to like go out and rent one of those like big ass steam cleaners, like those professional grade steam cleaners, and clean my
Yeah.
freaking carpets. Like I'm super excited to do that. And like I'm like, where did that come from? Like,
Right?
but it's like, I don't know, like little stuff like that. Like, and I honestly, like, I really enjoy having serious conversations with friends, because I mean, I don't know about you, but like, I've definitely had some trauma, and I tend to process that trauma, through humor.
Yeah.
I try to make fun of my situation and try to make fun of myself, and that type thing. And like that shit kind of gets old after a while, like you're just like, God damn, like I just want to be serious with somebody for a minute.
I'm not yawning at you. I
Oh, dude,
realized
I've yawned twice already.
well, I saw the one time. I just wanted you to know that I'm not yawning at you. I am so filled with cheese and pepperoni right now. And in fact, I even burped into the microphone, and I can still smell the pepperoni on
Uh,
the what do you call this? What do you call that?
the microphone cover.
Thanks.
It's gold.
Isn't there a name for this little muff thing?
I mean, technically, it's a pop filter.
Pop filter. That's what I was
Yeah,
looking for. I knew. I knew that's what its function
You have
was.
the external pop filters that like you can make out of like pantyhose and stuff.
Yeah.
And we have several of those, but we don't need those because our P's and our sibilances and our T's and our I's are very
Do
they're
my
very muffled.
T's come out properly at two
And
brute?
if Lane is watching and I
Oh,
hope
stop. Don't do it. Don't do it. Come on. No. Lane, I love you. Even if your sponsee doesn't, I do. Okay? You do amazing work. Leave him alone. Leave him. Hey, look, I still have the pictures.
Yeah, that's true. You do.
We had a couple comments on there. Art, do you know where the comment button? There. Oh, perfect. You want to click on Doug's there? If you click on it, there you go. Thank you, buddy. You will be missed, Justin. This is Doug Levy. Doug Levy. You know what, dude? Let me read it first. You will be missed, Justin. Thanks for always being such a good dude and looking forward to awesome things for you. So, Doug, let me tell you, my Yeti. Doug is the program manager, some kind of big poobah, grand poobah, and does stuff with the Phoenix, which is this amazing group that does outdoor and indoor just wellness activities throughout the country. And there's different places, yada yada yada. They're almost always free. I think they're always free. I think they might have some camping things that they do, but free events.
Partnerships manager.
Partnerships manager. Thank you, Doug. And Doug comes down to Richmond from Northern Virginia, DC, and he comes down once a month, at least once a month, and does a wellness day with our participants and participants here in the Richmond area, and hoping to grow that. But Doug, I mean, I love you, Doug. You're becoming one of my friends, and I do want to talk to you. I meant to talk to you the last time. Anyway, separately. Squirrel everywhere.
Mhm.
Sorry, Doug. Doug, my Yeti that you gave me from the Phoenix, I absolutely love and adore that thing. It's sitting on my dresser at home filled with coffee, and I'm very sad about that today.
But the thing is, it's still going to be hot when you get back.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right. I've rambled on enough about my Yeti. There's one from Virginia over here. Virginia says, best wishes on your new adventure, Justice. Thanks for all of the support you gave to so many participants. I know you will reach your goals and that new ride, talking about the Toyota. Oh, that was sweet, Virginia. Thank you. Well, I say thank you. What does Doug say again? What is going to happen to that place without Justin?
It's going to be total anarchy.
Yeah.
Everything's going to fall apart.
Doug, it's already anarchy, and yeah. So,
Nah, man, Art's going to do a killer job.
do you know what the sad thing was today? So, for anybody who's been in the studio, and I know we don't have the camera over on the desk over there.
I had that set up.
I know. But the camera, when it's pointed at the desk, when I look over there, it used to be filled with, what was it filled with?
Gravediggers.
Gravediggers.
Yes.
Yeah, monster trucks, little toys. And I came in here earlier, and Justin pulled out this ancient
It was a microphone box.
microphone box. Yeah. Okay.
But I gutted it.
And I looked at it. And I'm like, you've had that forever, haven't you? Yeah. And actually, I have, like I told you, I have one similar. It's a little bigger that my mom used to use for camera equipment when I was a child, or even before that. So that's how. I mean, I'm 46. And he pulled it out like a little kid, opened it up, and he put all the Gravedigger toys. Well, they're not toys. What are they? They're toys. I mean, they're not toys though. They're
memorabilia.
Thank you.
It is memorabilia.
This is why you got the job, by the way. Love you. All right, so put the memorabilia in, and so here's the funny part, Art. He put it in, and he was very careful, and this and that. They were all assigned. They didn't have names, but they all fit perfectly. Like, it was ridiculous. It was like, and it was like he picked it up, he closed the thing together, he picked it up, and it was like, I'm gonna go home now. Let me go get my Go-Gurt,
I'm taking my Gravediggers and I'm going home.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes. And it was really kind of sad because I come in here all the time and I see those Gravediggers and I'm like, yes, Justice is here.
It was a sad moment, and I actually snapped a picture of it and sent it to Teresa, and I was just like, I finally packed them up, because that was one of the last things I wanted to pack up before. Because so Gravedigger is, and I haven't really told a lot of people this, but Gravedigger is something that is near and dear to me because it's something that me and my dad used to do when I was younger.
Ah,
We used to do that, and we used to go sailing.
yeah. I forgot
Now
we had that in common.
I can't exactly collect sailboats
Yeah.
because that's a little expensive. Also, water. But the Gravedigger toys, like every time I go to Walmart, every time I go to any store and I see one, I always have the urge to buy one, but I usually already have the one that I see. Now, I will say there's a Gravedigger Power Wheels at Walmart right now for $3.99,
$3.99.
$399.
Okay.
And it took when I got my tax money, it took everything in my being not to buy it. But I was like, first off, I can't drive this thing because I'm way too big for it. Second off, I have nowhere to put it. No, and Teresa was just like, if I had the money, I would buy you that right now. And yeah, but no, like me and my dad used to go to see Gravedigger at the Richmond Coliseum.
Yeah.
Back when that was a thing, which shows my age. But I always thought it was the coolest
Well,
thing.
so Art and I have no idea when the Richmond Coliseum was around, so you could have been yesterday for us.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, to everybody out there that's watching, if you remember the Richmond Coliseum, that's where we used to go see monster trucks. And
That's the building that looks like the Scope down in Norfolk.
What?
Is that the building that looks like the
no,
Scope?
that's in the city.
Yeah, in Richmond. That
Yeah.
building looks like the building in
Oh,
Norfolk
oh.
called the Scope.
Yeah, it's just got it's like the roundish building.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't look like the Scope.
Yeah, that don't look like.
You
I
don't
don't know what the scope is, but
Oh, but you're like, oh, it doesn't look like that. You have
Yeah.
no idea what I'm talking about.
at all.
Awesome.
I'm just winging it.
All right. Sort of
Um,
brutalist, all cement, kind of 70s, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say more 80s, but okay.
Okay.
But yeah, we used to go to these, and they were so loud, and I thought they were so cool, and like they would have the big shows where they would come out and have these transformer ones that would breathe fire, and these ones that would like crush cars, and it was insane. And of course, I was like, I was young, I was like in between like 10 to 15 years old, and freaking like I'm seeing these giant, massive trucks just jump over with tires that were like twice as big as the whole thing just blew me away, absolutely blew me away. And there was always a ton of different trucks there and everything, but Gravedigger would come out, and the driver would always be Dennis Anderson. He's the one that kind of started the whole Gravedigger franchise, and I don't know if it's a franchise, but the whole Gravedigger company, I guess you could say. But he would always just go ape shit and destroy the truck and just just it was like all these other trucks, and looking back now, it was a money thing. You when you break something, you have to pay money to replace it, or you have to have the parts to replace it. It costs money to break things that fix things that are broken. And these other trucks were they were smaller, not as big as the Gravedigger brand. So when they would break something, it would take, but Gravedigger, they would usually come with like 2 to 3 trucks worth of parts. Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. So they would just screw it. We're just going to destroy the whole truck. And the crowd would just go and you couldn't hear what the crowd was like. You couldn't hear people cheering because it was so loud. And then when I went to Florida for school, I got to see them at whatever the big stadium is in Florida.
Where did you go to school in Florida?
Full Sail.
Okay.
Yeah. I went there for 2 years.
For those who may not know, where is that?
It's in Orlando.
Actually, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually specifically in Winter Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I went there for 2 years. And I got to see Gravedigger when I was there. But what they did, I forget the name of the stadium, but it was huge, and I had never seen monster trucks in such a huge stadium. And oh my God, it's an entirely different show. These trucks just, they fly through the air. It's just, I can't even put it into words. It was the coolest thing I have literally ever seen in my life. But yeah, so getting back to Gravedigger, my dad would always take me to see Gravedigger, and so that's kind of like, that's kind of like a thing that me and him share. So
nice. And sailing.
And sailing. Yeah.
Yeah. Where did you go sailing?
We used to sail a lot. We used to go to regattas, sail in regattas. He actually knew this
You
guy
guys
named
raced?
yeah,
No
yeah,
kidding.
and he was actually really good too. He raced
Huh.
on a boat called the Triumph. It was a 40-foot, you know, sailboat. But these guys took it serious. They took it
Yeah.
real serious.
Because
And
we're about the same age. I mean, a little bit
yeah,
older.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, these guys would, they would go on, 1 to 2 week races, where it
Oh,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Your dad
And
did that too?
yeah,
Oh,
and he was
wow.
good too. He actually worked at, uh, or it worked when he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and he worked in Urbana. There's like a, what do we call it? Where they keep boats and stuff.
Uh,
Marina.
oh,
Yeah.
we're both like,
Yeah, I had a lot of cheese and salami too. Don't worry.
Yeah. Oof.
But he worked at a marina, and that's
Nap
how.
time.
Yeah, and that's how he got into it. And that was one of those things. He ended up buying his own boat. And it was funny because back in the day when I was working at Apple, I ironically had Wednesdays off as well. So he would come and pick me up really early on Wednesday, and he would take me to, I forget where we even kept the boat, Deltaville, I think.
By the way,
Deltaville.
Teresa's watching.
I know. She always
Yeah.
watches. She watches every day. She we kept it in Deltaville, and he would pick me up, and we would go to Deltaville, and we would hop on board, and we would go sail. And sometimes the water would be, it would be dead. Sometimes it would be super windy. Sometimes it'd be hot. Sometimes it'd be cold. But it didn't matter. What mattered is we got to spend that time together. That was something that just me and him did. Nobody else came along. Mom didn't come along. Brother didn't come along. Nobody. It was just me and him. And we did that for, say, about 1.5 to 2 years. Then he ended up having to sell the boat. The boat was called Sugar Magnolia, and
Sweet.
he didn't take any of my any of my stuff, any of my sailing stuff off of it, so it was sold with all that stuff on it. Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
bummed me out because it was some nice stuff, but yeah, the sailing thing, that was more of my not necessarily younger days. But the gravedigger stuff that happened in my younger years.
Yeah.
When I was looking for guidance and all that type of stuff. So
Yeah. Sailing's important to me. And that my connection with that is really mostly towards my grandfather, my father's father, but my mother's father sailed too when he retired. So it was only a brief window where I actually sailed with him, but with my other grandfather, I sailed with him a lot. And when I do visualizing meditations, a very specific image and feeling is me on the bow of my grandfather's boat was named the Tia Maria because we like to drink.
Right.
In my family, for Tia Maria is an after dinner liqueur. Ooh, oh, hello. What was that?
some type of
Some
notification.
type of notification. We got
Yeah.
mail here.
Oh yeah, email's open.
Oh, that happens sometimes.
Hey Art, go to the bottom of the screen, right click on that, close all windows.
There you
Bam.
go.
That won't happen anymore.
That's all right.
That's my fault.
But that's my go-to, and it's a warm, not overly hot. It's a probably May, kind of day, where it's just a little bit warm, and you get a nice breeze and the open water in front of you. And we always sailed. They retired down to the Outer Banks to Kill Devil Hills, and they lived on the sound side of the island. They live on a little inlet right off of the what was the Albemarle or if it was the Currituck Sound, but one of the sounds, right?
I don't know water.
Yeah, well, he lived. Yeah, so they lived right there, and we'd take that out. We'd go down to Manteo and just sail around there. But that was always a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Always a lot of fun, and it was always it. He didn't. It was special, but it wasn't like we were involved.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
learned,
Yeah.
Helmsley
Yeah.
and this is when you duck and this is when you pull something and
Yeah.
this is when you work. It wasn't a, sit down, be careful, be quiet, shut up. It was no, we're gonna actively do this together and I loved that. I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 14th birthday. So when I turned my birthday's in June. So for those of you watching, it's the middle of May right now. My birthday's June 15th. I'll accept cash, all kinds of gifts. Just let you know.
Cash.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
I'll take cash, gift cards,
if you want to send me food,
Venmo.
new vehicles,
Yeah.
Toyota for you. I like my VW, but I think
No. I want to buy the Toyota myself.
You know what? I feel you on that. That's a
Yeah.
good feeling to
Yeah.
buy my own car. But when I was 13, right before my birthday happened during this trip, I guess my grandfather was getting ready to retire, and we I guess I finished school for that year, and my grandfather took us to Annapolis for like a week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We were up in South Jersey where I went to high school, where they lived, and we came to Annapolis, and we actually, because he was getting ready to retire, he's about to buy his first sailboat, and he didn't. My other grandfather, he grew up sailing, he knew
Mm-hmm.
boats. This grandfather, my mom's father, he didn't know about boats, so he needed to learn, and so he had this, he was retiring, had some money. We took this trip and we went through a sailing school for like a week, and I turned 14 on that trip, like on the boat, and the guys that were so what we would do is we'd stay on the boat all day. We'd be sailing, and then we would sleep on the boat. We would all
Mm-hmm.
tie up. There was a couple boats all together,
Yeah.
and there was one boat that had all the captains of the boat. So they all went to that boat. We stayed, on ours and slept. And on my birthday, they actually baked me a cake on the water,
Nice.
which was
Nice.
crazy. Some kind of lemon pound cake. I'll remember that forever. That was a really neat experience. Somewhere I have pictures of my family from that too. I think, but me at 14.
We used
Scary.
to go out to Lake Erie.
Yeah.
And we would go walleye fishing. And that was really cool because we would go. I don't know if were we on Lake Erie. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was Lake Erie. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
Either way, wherever it was.
Either way, it was great.
Yeah. Either way, it was.
Get it. Great. It was great. The lakes are great. They're the Great Lakes. I think it might be time to land the plane. Okay. Go ahead.
It was great.
So you're on possibly Lake Erie.
We're on possibly Lake. I think it was Lake Erie. But yeah, we would rent this boat and we would have, obviously a captain and all that. But one of the coolest things I remember is we would catch these fish that were not the walleye, and we would cut them up and use part of them as bait. But then we would, like, the captain had a little griddle, and he would just take little pieces of fish and just like literally, put it on the griddle for a second and, butter it up, a little bit of Old Bay. And it was the most delicious thing that I've ever tasted ever. It was so amazing because it was like fresh out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, as sick as it sounds to say, almost still alive when you're eating it, like that type of fresh. But yeah, we got to do that for several years, until grandparents started dying and, family started splitting up and that type thing.
Yeah. Funny memories. No, it's good to have good to have these.
Yeah. And now, like, it's getting to the point where my brother and I are going to be, we're going to be like we already are the adults, but we're going to be like the
adults.
The adults.
Yeah.
That and it's crazy because, like, I don't remember ever getting to this point, but now all of a sudden, like, when I go to family gatherings, like, I see the kids running around. I'm like, hey, stop, put that down. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh crap.
they're making those memories.
Yeah, they're making those memories
Yeah.
of the memories that and it's like it just happens so fast,
Yeah.
and like I like the other day we went over to Teresa's parents' house, and like all the kids went out on the trampoline, and I was like, damn it, I want to go on the trampoline. But I was like, I can't. I got to stay here and talk to the adults. And I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, I am the adult. Damn it.
Damn it. Damn
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
But no, her parents are awesome. Her mom cracks me up because she's like she'll tell you a joke, and then like she'll look at you and like wait for your response. Yeah, she'll just be like, whatever. Like she we were talking about piercings, and I told her I was like, back in high school I had like everything pierced, like my ears, my nose, my lip, like everything. It was just like, I clicked when I talked basically. And she goes, she was asking people if they wanted something to drink, and she goes, well, do you want something to drink? Holy. And I was like, no, I'm okay. But I was like, oh, like she likes me, like it was cool.
You're 41?
41, yeah, I'll be
41?
42 in August.
In August. We're not that far apart, and but I didn't really know anybody who had. Well, no, that's not true. I guess I knew people with belly button rings and tongue rings. Tongue rings were a thing in my not my crowd, but like I knew that was for me. I had I think I had 2 ear piercings, and on this side and one on this side. There was some logic.
I had, all right, you ready?
And I had a nipple pierced.
So I had both ears pierced twice.
Mhm.
All right. I have my septum.
You had gauges at one point, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I had gauges in both of the holes, actually.
Mm.
I had this part up here pierced.
What is that called?
I don't know, the
Okay.
cartilage. I had my eyebrow pierced. I had my nostril, my septum, my lip down here pierced. I had my tongue pierced twice, and I had both nipples pierced.
Of course, you had the tongue pierced twice.
Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I?
Why-
I could have pierced the third time, but the piercer was just like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, but I'm going to pay you. He was like, no.
Did you do the 2 at the same time?
No.
Oh.
I did, because the first one I did was like farther back.
Oh, so they were.
Yeah, it was.
okay.
It was like in line.
See, I had them pictured.
No.
like,
It was like in line that way. And I wanted to do another one on the tip, but he basically told me that if I did that, my tongue might split.
And you're like, yeah, I would have a snake tongue.
Yeah.
A forked snake
A
tongue.
forked
That's
snake
what
tongue.
I'm going for.
Yeah.
Parcel tongue.
But it got ridiculous, and then I started wrestling.
Oh yeah.
So every day before wrestling practice, I had to spend 10 minutes in front of the freaking mirror, taking out like all my, and then I was just like, it's not worth it.
You got these all pierced in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't get anything done until after high school.
Yeah, I got them all pierced. I think no, my nostril I got pierced after high school, but everything else I got pierced when I was in high school because I was in a hardcore band, man.
Right, and nothing says
hardcore like piercings and tattoos,
like putting holes in your body.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You gotta look tough.
Well, we're looking at the time up here. We're at 59 minutes here. I think it might be time to land the plane, although I don't really want to.
This is landing the plane for the final time for me.
That you sound like you're landing
Can
a
I
plane.
say something really quick?
Of course.
I just wanted to thank you guys for getting me in this spot, and I wanted to thank McShin for the opportunity. And also, I'm looking forward to working with everyone. And
yeah,
good luck,
man.
Justin, I really like working with you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm really glad this is working out the way it is working out.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
When you stick around somewhere long enough, well, you know what? I don't know about everywhere, but at least around here, like staying in place for a little while, and learning the things that are frustrating me and figuring out where I can be part of the solution, and also learning the things that are frustrating me that I have absolutely no control over and I can't find the solution, and I can either choose to bitch about it or accept it, and eventually it's just going to happen, and I would love to say that I've got that down perfectly here, but everyone here also knows that that's not true. And being here, for a little bit of time now, I've been here over 3 years in this position, and God, that's insane. That is insane to me,
Mhm.
and for I guess what over 2 years we've had this show. We started in the beginning of 29 or the end of 2019. So, being in this position that I've been in, I get a little bit of leeway on asking for people, the people I would like to help me do the things to help do the things that are I'm involved with. And so all that to say is that, I was in that position last year. I was able to say, hey, Todd's leaving, and I miss you, Todd. I love you. Hope you're doing well. Shout out. But Todd's leaving. There's this guy, and they said yes. You know, I'm not saying it's all me. I'm saying, you had a lot to do with it. I'm just grateful that that's the way it worked out, and
Yeah.
I get to be in that position again because I was like, yo, this kid over here, he's not a pain in the ass yet,
Yet.
and well, but I think with Art, I'm sensing this with Art that I'm going to annoy him before he annoys me, but he's not going to tell me. I'm not going to know that he's annoyed with me.
You already have, Nathan. Just
That you told me when you were annoyed at me?
no.
Oh, I've already annoyed you.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. But I do hope, though, going forward, as much as I'm sitting here laughing and joking and saying that, it's like I I like it when people tell me what's going on. I may not like it in the moment, but I like it overall. I'd much rather know what I'm working with and be able to try to work
Absolutely. No,
together.
I'll definitely let you know, but
Yeah.
it's pretty hard to annoy me.
Well, that sounds like a challenge.
It does.
Or
It's
I'm
on.
sorry, is it a challenge or is it
It's a challenge.
an opportunity
What's the opportunity there?
to annoy you? No, to see you grow from annoying. No, all right. All that joking aside, but I'm really grateful that you're jumping in here, Art, and I know we were talking. Justin and I were talking earlier about this, and I've already talked to you too. About some things, and I hope you don't get overwhelmed. We want you to stick around and grow.
Don't be afraid to say no.
I'm
No
not.
is a complete.
Don't.
No, I'm
I
looking forward
I
to
will
it.
say I did not want to say no. I wanted to say yes to everything. Of course I can
Yeah.
do that. If you're overwhelmed, dude, seriously, that's the best piece of advice I will give you. If you're overwhelmed in the least,
I'll speak up.
speak up.
Yeah, and I don't mean no. I mean say no to me, obviously, but I mean because you're
The
gonna have.
top brass.
Yeah, you're gonna have like a lot of there are a few people here. Everybody everybody here reports to one person, right? With some little variation, but everybody technically always goes to the one person. There are a few positions, however, that even though technically they go to one position, there's really three people who are constantly coming at them with things to do.
Mhm.
You're about to be one of those few people. The honor of having everybody come at you with a whole bunch of different stuff, and so just
Everybody needs everything right now.
probably yesterday, and
Yeah.
you probably missed a deadline.
Yeah.
In fact, didn't you get that done
I
already?
haven't even started yet. Start on Monday officially.
You're gonna be fine. You are gonna be fine, and grateful that you're there, sitting in there and jumping in, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun.
I'm
With
excited.
yeah, with that, Justin, you want to have the last word? You want to close us out?
Well, yeah, I'll close the show out, but before I do that, I just want to make sure that um everybody knows how grateful I am to have done this and to have had this opportunity. Um, the people at McShin, John, Honesty, Jesse, hell, even you. Sorry, had to throw a little bit of humor in there, but no, man, this has been an insane experience and probably one of the best experiences I've had in a long, long time. McShin is a fantastic place. And if you're watching right now and you want to come get some recovery, this is the place to do it. I say we. I don't work here anymore.
For another hour.
For another hour, yeah. Yeah. So that's gonna be it for me. I'm sure you guys will see me around sometime in the future. Art, I want you to make this, as far as the production end of things goes, I want you to make this yours. I want you to know how things work, but I want you to put your heart into it, and put your creativity into it. And I know you can do that. And I've given you some instruction manuals there, but if you want to ball them up and throw them in the trash and do things, I want you to do things your way. That's what I want for you. Take this and make it your own. That's what I had to do. Well, that's what I was given the opportunity to do, and that's what I did. So it's
yeah, thanks.
yeah,
Thanks, Justin.
it's all yours, and I think you're gonna do awesome with it, and I think you're gonna be able to take it to a level that,
got big shoes to fill.
Well, thanks, man.
They are big.
Yeah, these are actually kind of small. I wear a size 12 in Nikes, but all right. Well,
out there.
I've got one. You know what? I know. Oh no, I said you can have the last word, but I do want to say something real quick because I just thought of it. You have a job already. I have a task for you.
see,
that?
starts already.
It starts already. I need a cough button.
A cough button, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yep.
I've needed it for a long time, and I didn't realize I needed it until just now.
Cough button.
Amazon.
Yeah, something I could turn the mic off so I can cough.
Oh, that's called a mute button.
Yeah, I know what it's called, but the cough button, it's the same
You
thing.
need your own mute button.
Yeah, I need mine. I can't say,
Oh,
hey, Art, I need to cough. Could you mute me? Because that kind of defeats the purpose. I
got
just
you.
cough. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if Art was a good producer, he'd be able to look at you and tell.
Yeah, well, look. All right, you have last word. Sign us off. Get us out of here.
Bye.